What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Pokemon DataDex with me, TheOneIntegral. In last week's episode, we covered the Fire Flying type Talonflame, one of the most annoying Pokemon from Generation 6. That's weird, I shouldn't say that. Pokemon from Generation 6. And this week, I asked you guys whether you wanted to see Krookodile or Bisharp, and Krookodile only just slightly one out ahead. So that's who we're covering this week. But next week, since it's the last 10 before 100, I figured I'd do some more megas basically. So next week we're going to cover a water type mega evolution, either Slowbro or Swampert. Choose which one you want to see down below, but either commenting Slowbro or Swampert. It's really that simple. One with the most votes will be covered next week. But for now, let's have a look at Krookodile. Krookodile is number 553 in the National Pokédex, being introduced in Generation 5 and the Unova region, and is a ground dark type Pokemon, also being the Intimidation Pokemon. Dimension wise, it stands at 4 foot 11 inches or 1.5 meters, so it's not the biggest crocodile, but of course it is standing on two legs, so it's a bit more weird. It weighs 212.3 pounds or 96.3 kilograms, so it's fairly heavy as well. Egg and breeding wise, it's in the field egg group only, and the male-female split is 50-50, so fairly simple there. Evolution wise, it's part of a 3-stage evolution chain, starting at Sandile, will evolve into Krokorok, starting at level 29, and Croconaut will evolve further into Krookodile, starting at level 40. Base stat wise, if we take a look at Krookodile's stats here, you can see its highest base stat is actually attack, so you would assume it would be a physical attacker, but that's it's actually purely physical basically, with its special attack being very low at 65. Following those up, you have health points at 95, and then speed at 92 as its next highest, and then defense, special attack, and special defense are all fairly low. So it's not the not sort of the bulkiest Pokemon. It's not really the fastest Pokemon either. Most of its power is in attack. Its power. Ability-wise, there are 3 abilities available for Krookodile. The first one is Intimidate, which makes sense is the Intimidation Pokemon, which obviously lowers the opposing Pokemon's stat when Krookodile comes out into battle, so that's useful, lowering attack, why not, especially since you have a fairly low defense. If it's a physical attacker, you're going to have some luck there. Its second normal ability is Moxie, which boosts the attack stat after it takes down a Pokemon, which is very beneficial. As you can tell, its best base stat is attack, again, so boosting that attack stat, it's never a bad thing. Its hidden ability is actually Anger Point, which maxes the attack stat if the Pokemon is hit by a critical hit. Seems like it's a good thing, yeah, sure, you take a critical hit, you're unlucky, but then you get maximum attack. Yeah, but if you take a critical hit, you're not going to have that much health points left over looking at your defensive stats. It's not like you can just take hit after hit after hit. Plus, your speed stat isn't amazingly high, so even if you do get that maximum attack boost, you probably won't be able to get any attacks off after it before you're taken out again. So overall, Moxie is most likely the most useful one, or Intimidate just for generally lowering attack. Then if we take a look at the typing for Krookodile, we can tell it is a ground dark typing, so is that a good type or a bad type? Let's have a look. It resists 4 types, which is a poison, rock, ghost and dark. 4 resistances, okay, good, but these types aren't actually that common, they're not commonly used. Maybe the rock type, yeah, sure, and dark type too, but ghost and poison aren't as common. It's not like a fire type move or a water type move that you can see on most Pokemon. Weaknesses, we have grass, water, fighting, bug, ice, and fairy. So you have some common ones in there like water, and I guess fairy is more common for Generation 6 now, but some, obviously bug isn't as common. But there's more weaknesses than resistances. However, the saving grace here is that Krookodile actually has 2 immunities, one being the electric from its part ground type, and one being psychic from its part dark type. So that's a benefit there. It's certainly a good thing, I suppose, be immune to 2 types of moves, so if you can switch on them, you're pretty good. Then of course, Krookodile takes neutral damage from the last 6 remaining types, which is normal, fire, flying, ground, dragon and steel. So generally it's not an amazing typing, but it has a good mix of everything, I suppose. It's weak to some common moves, it's weak to some not so common moves, it resists some common moves, and it's really, you get the idea, guys. It's sort of a standard typing. If we then have a look at the moves you might want to use for a Krookodile. First up, at level 28 we have Crunch. Being a dark type, we're going to get a stab from this, and it's a fairly powerful dark type move. However, there are other options of dark type moves, as we'll see in a minute. Then we have Earthquake at level 54. Obviously ground type move, this is your ground type stab because of a physical attacker, so why would you not use Earthquake basically? You can also learn it by TM, it's worth pointing out, so you don't have to quite get to level 54. Then we have TM12 Taunt. So it's an option you can use at some point, if because obviously yes, you've got your dark type stab, your ground type stab. There are 1 or 2 other options for moves, but of course, if there's a space, you could definitely try, think about using taunt just to nullify anyone that's going to set up on you, basically. Then we have TM71 Stone Edge. This is an alternative, sort of something else to go along with the ground type. You can have a rock type move instead, which is going to actually, cover some more types for you, basically. In terms of what you're weak to, you have grass, water, fighting, bug, ice, fairy. Rock is going to handle ice, but of course it's not going to handle anything else really, but it's just there to give you a nice sort of spread. It's also going to work against fire and flying types, so it's going to be pretty decent. Then we have an egg move, which is Pursuit. So no dark type move here, obviously less powerful than Crunch, but it will pursue any enemy that's looking to switch out, so it is sort of useful to hang around. And of course, if it does hit an enemy switching out, it will double in power, so it will be pretty powerful in that case. So it might be useful, as I said, you haven't got 4 moves you can choose from, or 4 types of moves, so you might want to think about running Crunch and then Pursuit as well. So if you think someone's going to switch out, you can pursue them instead of normally attacking, and you can actually get some more damage off on them, especially if they're low health. They're probably going to die. Then to finish up, we have 3 tutor moves from Auras. The first one being Knockoff, another dark type move option, but obviously it's got a power up in Generation 6, which is why it's more common now, and of course will knock the opponent's item off. So you might want to think about running Knockoff rather than Crunch. Yes, there'll be a slight power trade-off, but you'll be able to knock items off here, there, and everywhere. Then we have another tutor move, as I said, which is going to be Superpower, a fighter type move that's going to do decent damage, but it is going to lower your attack and defense stats after you've used it. So really, this isn't a move you want to be using too much. You can keep it there as an option, because obviously it's a fighting type move. It's going to be able to deal with some types that you can't really deal with otherwise, like Steel. Well, Steel you've got ground for anyway. Ice, as I said again. A rock as well, again you have Earthquake for, so it's not going to be the most useful of moves. It's not going to be like, oh yeah, it's going to cover all your weaknesses, but you can definitely run it to do some damage in some cases, basically. But of course, the attack and defense drop is not the best thing to have, so you want to use it sparingly. Then we have last tutor move, last move we're going to cover, Stealth Rock. Again, if you have a space there, if you have 3 attacking moves and you got a space, think about running Stealth Rock instead. You can certainly use it to set up, use it as a lead, set Stealth Rock up right at the start of the game, and of course any Pokemon they send out later on that's not going to be able to avoid it will take some damage from those rocks, so it's certainly an option there. Then if we look at the sets you can actually use these moves in, we're going to have 2 sets here. The first one is more of a choice banded set, but you can have it up, you have to use choice band basically, and the second one is more of a choice scarf set. So first set we're going to have Earthquake, Knockoff, Stone Edge or Superpower, and then Pursuit or Superpower as the moves. The ability is going to be Intimidate, or you could run Moxie here. Nature is a jolly one. Held item is going to be Choice Band, but as I mentioned you could run other items like Life Orb, or just something like an Earth Plate, just to power up your ground type moves basically. And then EV wise you can run Maximum Attack, Maximum Speed, and the rest in Defense. So move wise, Earthquake is your ground type stab, easy peasy. Knockoff, dark type stab with the added effect of knocking items off. Then you have the option of Stone Edge or Superpower, basically whether you want a rock type move or a fighting type move, but of course you have to, Stone Edge has got low accuracy, Superpower is going to lower your stats, they both have downsides. So say you take Stone Edge, then you have the choice of taking Pursuit or Superpower in the last slot. You could take Pursuit, as I said, just to hold it around in case you think someone's going to switch out, then you can definitely go for Pursuit. Bear in mind this is a choice band set though, so of course it might be a case if you switch in, the enemy is weak, weak to your dark type moves or ground type moves or whatever, and you think, oh, they're going to switch out, I'm going to choice band Pursuit them. It's going to double in damage if they actually switch out, and it's going to do a lot of damage, of course, in which case you can actually switch out after that. But that's the option there, or of course if you didn't run Superpower in the third slot, you can think about running Superpower again, instead of Pursuit if you don't want that extra sort of option of pursuing Pokemon basically. Ability wise, Intimidate is probably the better one here because we're not really going for a super speedy set like the Choice Scarf set will be, so Moxie might not be as useful because as we've seen it's not the highest speed stat, so you're not going to outspeed a lot of Pokemon. Of course we have a Joy Nature though, which is going to increase our speed stat, but really it's up to you which one you use here. I'd recommend Intimidate though, just because Choice Band you're probably going to be switching in and out more than often. You're not going to be, it's not like you're going to be going in once and then doing it. Plus of course you're choice banded, say you go and you Earthquake, you kill someone, cool, you get a Moxie boost, then they send the Flying type. You're not even going to get the benefit of the Moxie boost. So generally I think the Intimidate is the better option here, but Moxie is a possibility. As I mentioned, the Jolly Nature is going to increase our special attack speed and lower our special attacks since we're not using that. And then the choice band here, as I mentioned, you can run other ones like Life Orb if you want some sort of flexibility in your move choices, or just a generic power up move. And the EVs, maximum attack and speed because we want the power and the speed basically, and the rest in physical defense just to sort of boost that up a little bit. Because obviously we have Intimidate, so it's only going to be a very slight boost with this extra EVs in defense. So there's not much point in putting it in special defense to equal it up. We might as well put all our sort of eggs in the physical defensive basket with Intimidate as well. How would you use this set? Well, if it's choice band, of course, you can switch in, you can Earthquake, you can whatever. Do what you can until, of course, you can't do it anymore because they're going to resist it or they're going to be immune to it or whatever, in which case you switch out. Hence why Intimidate is more useful, because you come back in again, you get another Intimidate off, and the cycle repeats there. So generally that's how you'd use that set. It's a choice band set, you use it how you would use a choice band set, basically. Switch in, you do damage, you switch out, and then you carry on repeating the process until you're taken out yourself. Then, I don't know, the second set, okay, the choice scarf set. The moveset is going to be very similar. Earthquake, Knockoff, Stone Edge or Crunch this time, and then Pursuit. Ability is going to be Moxie this time. Nature is going to be Jolly again though. Held Item, as I mentioned, is going to be a Choice Scarf, and then EV is going to be the same as last time, as in maximum attack and speed, and then the rest in physical defense. So Earthquake and Knockoff are your two stabs there to start off with. The choice of Stone Edge or Crunch here is up to you. Stone Edge, of course, hasn't got the best accuracy, so you might want to think about, okay, not got the best accuracy, but, it might be good to have an extra sort of coverage move. Whereas Crunch is more powerful than Knockoff or Pursuit, so if you're in the case of, there's no point knocking off the opponent's item, you might as well just go for Crunch for all the power, for example. And then Pursuit is there at the end, because of course that's, if you switch in on almost a confirmed kill, yes, either they're going to switch out and you pursue them out and you take them out, hence you get a Moxie boost there, or they stay in and you take them out anyway and you get the Moxie boost still. So that's why Pursuit would be one to run there. Of course you don't want to run Superpower on this set because, okay, Superpower, say you want to kill them, yeah? Superpower lowers your attack and your defense, and then Moxie boosts your attack, so you've got no attack gain. You've got a defense drop though, so it's still a bad move. It's not really it's gonna nullify your ability basically, especially if you can't take them out in one move. If you have to take 2 superpowers to do it, yes, okay. You'd have 2 attack drops for 1 for taking them out. It's no use at all, so you don't want to run it there. Moxie is the ability this time because we have the Choice Scarf. It's going to increase our speed stat. Of course, we only choice them what we do though, but that'll be alright because if we go for a sort of a safe thing like Knockoff, you can knock. No one's going to be able to be immune to it. Obviously, if say you've taken out the flying types and the levitators on the enemy team, there's 3 Pokemon left. You know that they're all going to take damage from Earthquake. Feel free to go for an Earthquake Choice Scarf. Why not? No one's going to be able to be immune to it. If there's still flying types around, it's probably not the best time to sort of utilise this Krookodile. You want to leave it till later on when you can actually sort of sweep through the rest of the team. But if you do want to go for it, you can use Knockoff or Stone Edge or whatever. I mean, Stone Edge low accuracy, probably not the best option. You guys get the idea. Use Knockoff and you go for it like that. Get your Moxie boosts, you just chain it on and on, powering up each time. And of course, if they haven't got anything to stop you, then eventually that's going to be the game. As I mentioned, it's sort of a late game sweeper when they've got 2 or 3 Pokemon left, rather than sort of sending it out first and expecting it to sweep for the whole team. Because if they've got, if you start off with Earthquake, which is the most powerful move, if you start off with that, it's not going to go far. So that's the idea of that set there. Just switch it in towards the end of the game and Earthquake or knock off your way to victory, basically, as a Choice Scarf set will do. But that is going to be it for this week's episode of the Pokemon DataDex. That was Krookodile, that was me. Remember to vote for next week's Pokemon down below in the comment section, guys. Comment either Slowbro or Swampert, and the one with the most votes will be covered next week. But for now, this is going to be it for me for today. I'll be seeing you next time. Thank you for watching. Goodbye, my friends.